Hello Bitcoiners, and welcome to another video on how to be a sovereign Bitcoiner. And this is going to be a relatively short video, and it's really targeted for those who hate to have spam on your node. And what is the spam I'm talking about? You know what it is. Those idiot wizards backed by the people who are aligned with the Bitcoin and name only conference. And you don't want this garbage on your mempool. I don't want it on my mempool. So we could do something about it. And the question comes up, will this ultimately stop this spam? Probably not. Actually, it's quite likely it's going to be no. But it's the principle of it all. And if you don't like it, you can just simply go fuck yourself. And you could free up the spam on your node's pool. And all it does to prevent all this from trash from propagating on your mempool is to just add 2 lines to your bitcoin.com file. That's it, just 2 lines, and you'll be able to free up your memory of all that garbage and only have the transactions that you want to keep on your mempool, and those are the transactions you want to broadcast out. So it's very simple to do, and I just want to give thanks to Bitcoin all caps. And if you haven't yet followed him on Twitter, I recommend doing so because he is a wealth of information. He's the guy that wrote up a very lengthy piece on how to do this and provided the 2 lines that need to be added to your bitcoin.com file in order to get this off your mempool. So I want to thank Bitcoin all caps first for providing this information and guiding us in the right direction, number 1. But number 2, any questions you have to do with Bitcoin, reach out to him. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's very good at providing information. Plus, he shit posts. It's a great guy, great account to follow. It's a win-win all around. But anyways, yeah. So my mempool, I don't want it there, and you don't want it there either. So what is the process? How do we get this done? Before we even dive deep into that, let's just look at this is what Bitcoin all caps posted on Stacker.news. This is also available on Reddit, but I'm going to use a Stacker.news copy because I prefer to at least plug them as much as possible. So to get into what it is, Bitcoin all caps writes, filters work for your own node's mempool, saving you resources, your RAM, CPU power, bandwidth, and energy too. Why wouldn't you want to do this? Unless you're a shitcoiner. But if you're not, you'd want to do this. So going further, he writes, there are still a few options for Bitcoin node runners to enable filters using the bitcoin.com file today. The first one is a nuclear filter option. This option disables your mempool altogether, so you will not be able to relay any unconfirmed transactions to other node peers or be storing any in your RAM. This is very important. He says, this is not an advisable option if you are going to run a Lightning node, or you do run one, or you plan to broadcast your own on-chain transactions. But he notes that you could simply turn on your mempool again when you need to do an on-chain transaction. So as you see here, this is a very severe way of doing it. You have to be very active in turning the block only on and off if you want to do it. So if you want to disable your mempool altogether, simply type in blocks only equal 1 into your config file, restart core, and you're good. And then once you want to enable mempool again, you just change that blocks only from 1 to 0, restart your core, and you're good to go. But as you can see, it's if you do want to run your Lightning node, and I wouldn't totally recommend this unless you really want to, but this is your choice. But that's one option available to you. If you want to have a little bit more functionality with your node and still stop the spam from ending up on your node, your mempool. So he writes here that for those who don't want to take an extremely broad filter, there's more specific filters that can eliminate spam from your mempool. And you could easily achieve this by putting 2 different lines in your bitcoin.com file. That is the permit bear multisig equals 0 and the data carrier equals 0. I'm going to put this in the description below. So in your config file, this is the bitcoin.conf file. By doing this, the first one at least, the permit bear multisig, this eliminates bear multisig transactions from being propagated to your peers' mempools, as well as storage of bear multisig transactions in your RAM. He says that this is currently being used by the Stamps scheme, a related ordinal scheme, to bloat the UTXO set beyond normal rates of growth, thereby accelerating baseline pru-node and full node resource usage and requirements long term. So you're essentially reducing the requirements and making your node run better, more streamlined, less garbage. It's better. That's number one. Number two, data carrier equals 0, and this eliminates the opportune transaction from your mempool. He says here, it's not harmful by doing this, by stopping this from ending up in your mempool, but this is being used by those that are those BRC20 fuck. Those guys are the worst. It's pure, as you mentioned, it's grift and scam. That's 100%, and it's just creating so much spam. So by doing this, it eliminates that garbage from ending up on your mempool, and also it prevents it from being broadcast out. So that is another good thing. So by doing those two things, you can eliminate a lot of the spam from your Bitcoin mempool, your node's mempool. Lastly, he mentions, if you want to go a step further, I didn't do this, but it's up to you. You can put a comment, and it's, in this case, he puts UA comment equals, and you put in this text or whatever text you want. He puts in stop the spam on your node, set data carrier equals 0, and permit bear multisig equals 0. And he says, by doing this, it will be a broadcast message displayed by your node, readable by your node's peers. And you can put whatever message you want, but that's the one he put. So I found that to be quite interesting. Now, how do you do this? You got to put these bear multisig equals 0 and data carrier equals 0. There's two ways to do it. You could either go to your node, and you could, oops, let me just get that going. There it is. And you can go to your node, and if you're running the GUI version of Bitcoin Core, you could just simply go into that. There's the option where you could edit the bitcoin.conf file through there and save it. But once you save it, remember you have to restart your Bitcoin Core. The second option, you could just use the command line. Since I'm SSH'd into my node, I'll do it like that. So where I have my file, it's in my home directory. It's .bitcoin, so it's a hidden directory. And then you edit the file. In my case, it's bitcoin.conf. It's going to be the same for you. And the thing is you're going to be entering are these two lines. The permit bear multisig equals 0 and data carrier equals 0. Do that. Save it. Restart your core. You're good to go. And then you could tell those people that are sending out the spam to go fuck themselves. Because that's what we have to tell them. Go fuck yourself. That's it. Short video, nice and easy. Just teaching you how to eliminate spam on your mempool, and you're good to go. So with that, take care. We'll do this again very soon.